Hey guys, Randy with Pete's RV TV here today. Today we are fortunate enough to have Tim Maxwell from Airstream at our Vermont location, and super excited to have him here and super excited to have the Airstream product. So how do you like Vermont, Tim?
I love Vermont. Beautiful.
Vermont's
absolutely beautiful. And it's nice to see the Airstream trailers stacked up against the road as you enter Pete's RV.
And stuff
Looks
like that.
really nice.
Absolutely. So today we're going to do a little Q&A, Tim.
I would love it.
All right, perfect. So again, Pete's RV is super excited to have the Airstream product, and again, excited to have you here today. Why don't we start with a little history on the product? I mean, you guys have been around a long time. How long has Airstream really been around?
Wally Byam started Airstream. Wally Byam, our founder, started Airstream in 1931. That's
incredible.
86 years
Amazing.
ago. 86 years ago. We're starting our 87th year here coming up. Really, really excited. We've maintained our roots, but we've also evolved the trailer into what it is today. It's kind of like that retro exterior with a modern interior, and we're sitting in a classic here. It's a 30-foot classic, and it's beautiful. It's your home away from home.
Beautiful trailer.
But if you really start looking at our roots, you know, Wally Byam started Airstream in 1931. That's big. I mean, we're the oldest RV company in existence. And in the mid-30s, there were over 400 RV companies around. And only of those 400, only Airstream remains today. And that's not an accident. That isn't. That goes back to our roots. It's quality. It's a quality product that's proven to last. And we last generations. Generations. That's big. That's big.
That brings me to my next question is, what percentage of Airstreams are still on the road?
Believe it or not, 70 to 75%. And Randy, you don't have to take Tim Maxwell's word for it. You don't. As you travel up and down the highways, just look out the side of your car. Look out through the passenger window. You'll see trailers. You'll see vintage trailers traveling up and down the road. You have a 1965 17-foot trailer just two trailers over. And it's in for service. A 1960. What other manufacturer can say that? There's no other manufacturer that can say that.
They really can't. I talked to a customer about it the other day, and the only thing that he had with that longevity was his Rolex watch, which I thought was a great way to compare the Airstream trailer. So, being that we have that longevity, obviously your build quality is a little bit different. How long does it take to put one of these together?
You know, 250 to 300 man hours. We're in a 30-foot classic. Excuse me, a 30-foot classic. This 30-foot classic is going to have upwards of 400 man hours in it. They're built by hand. It's one of them true iconic brands that is built by hand.
I've been to the plant, I've seen it, and I've seen the materials they use when putting these together, and it's unlike the materials we see in any other product out there in the RV world, which really drew my attention to the quality and the craftsmanship of the Airstream. Your team out there is incredible. And,
it's amazing.
And again, unlike anything that I've ever seen, and you can see the care and the compassion that goes into the build process and the product that we end up with, which also ties back to your longevity. Help me build value to the customer. I mean, obviously Airstream is going to cost a little bit more than some of the other trailers I have on my lot and your other dealers have on their lots. Why is that? I mean, other than how long it takes to build them.
You know, it's time proven, really. We've been around since 1931, just as we spoke. 70% are still on the road. Why is that? It's how we build the product. It truly is. This trailer is built so different than any other trailer out there. We build the trailer from the outside and work our way in. This Airstream trailer is built like we would build a home, like we would build a yacht, like they would build an aircraft. So what I mean by that is we start with the shell. We got two guys. This is aluminum superstructure. There's no wood inside this aluminum shell that's going to rot, mildew, wear out. So we're going to build this shell. After we build this shell, and by the way, we're going to put 3,000 buck rivets in the average shell. 3,000. It takes two guys to put one in, and all done by hand. Yeah. So after we build this shell, we're going to send it through a water test process. And we got wind, hurricane force winds, some rain, equivalent to like 91 inches of rainfall an hour. That's a lot. And we're going to pour water on this thing, and we're going to make sure that it's a leak-free shell at that point. You know, that's different than the other manufacturers. The other manufacturers do it exactly the opposite. They start from the inside. They'll set the cabinets on the floor. They'll build around the cabinets, and the cabinets kind of hold everything together.
Right.
Not with Airstream. With Airstream, we basically start from the outside, work our way in, send it through a water test booth, which is unique in the travel trailer industry.
I've seen that water test booth. That is absolutely incredible. It makes car washes look kind of not very good.
and you know the exciting fact about that is, so we'll send it through water check, and the majority of the seams of the trailer is sealed after the water check process. Right. So if you kind of look around our clearance lights, there's no smeary smeggly around her. There's no caulking around her outside accessories. It's all a gasket. You know, and you start looking at our seams, all them seams of the outside trailer are sealed after water check. That's huge, because if it leaks, we want to find it in water check. That's altogether different. So that just kind of goes by our build process. There's a lot of things that also sets us apart. We walk all the cabinetry through the door then, and we give it that custom, that finished look on the inside. They're all hand fitted, hand scribed into position.
Each trailer is a one-off. That was some of the
It's
things
like snowflakes.
they stressed that to us when we were going through the plant tour. And as I watched them go together, it was very apparent that it was a one-off. Guys were scribing. They were making fit. So every trailer is kind of that custom-built trailer, that custom-built trailer feel, and everything centralizes around that toilet. And the camper is built around, because that's the only thing we can't move because of the tank underneath. So before we wrap it up here, help me build value to the customer. What is our customer for the Airstream, and why would they buy the Airstream product?
You know, the customer that's looking at the Airstream understands quality. He really does. And again, like I said earlier, this trailer is going to last generations.
Sure it is.
You know, and some people think, well, I only want to use it for a few years. That's fine, but at the end of that few years, there's going to be value left in this trailer. And I can tell you, Randy, you can take loans on trailers, you know, upwards of 20 years.
Sure.
At the end of that 20 years, there's going to be value in this Airstream trailer.
Where
that's going to be unique.
RV, we're not
where you're not going to see that, but that's one part of it. It's value, right? Let's talk about the towability. We haven't really talked about the towability. The Airstream trailers are going to stick to the road like glue. Low center of gravity, independent wheel suspension. It's the whole package, right? So we have this towability part of it as well. And then you bring in the quality side of it, you know, and it's how we build this trailer. Randy, just open and shut the main door. That main door is going to shut and protect like a bank vault. It's like incredible. When you sit into a high-end car. When you sit into a high-end car, you just kind of sit down in the front seats, and the seats kind of wrap themselves around it, sort of like we are here today.
Absolutely.
And then you shut that passenger door, you shut that driver's door. It's solid. It deadens the sound on the inside. You can feel the quality. With Airstream, you can feel the quality and you can see the quality. And it's no mistake that Airstream's been around since 1931.
It is, and you guys have definitely bucked all the trends and set a standard and set a bar so high that I don't think anybody can compete. I joke about it with our customers that the only real things that Airstream has in common with the rest of the RV industry is we pull it behind our car and we sleep in them.
Yep.
Everything else is completely different. You guys have definitely taken your own path, and it shows, and the longevity of your company is completely amazing, and we are super excited to have you guys on board with us. And
same here.
Working with the guys at the factory and warranty, and then on the sales side is bar none probably the best I've seen in the industry, and one of the best reps in the industry as well.
Hey, big points for that.
Well, Tim, thank you for sitting down and taking the time to do this with us today. We always love having you here, and we look forward to seeing some more great product roll through our door in the future.
It's a deal.